I first heard about nonviolent communication from Paul Chek. He said it's one of the most important books in his library, and I think his library's worth over $1 million. Literally a library in his house, and he goes, "This is it. This is the secret to life." You know what I mean? Of communication, because life is just communicating with each other. Yeah. Our friends Neil and Jason and Pete and that, they all did a workshop with you as a couple. So the two couples plus whoever else was there.
Yeah.
And they just spoke so highly of it. And Neil and Jason were telling me, like, since we did that workshop, we used to have little niggling fights, and now we don't. And now we can literally communicate to each other, and our needs are met without violence. So the bit that I always struggled to get, and probably everyone listening, is what do they mean by violent communication?
Yeah, it's a tricky topic, because I know when I started this like 22 years ago, I started nonviolent communication. I was one of 4 trainers in Australia. And at the time, I begged Marshall Rosenberg, who was the founder of nonviolent communication, to change the name. I begged him to change the name because, like, who wants to do a training called nonviolent communication? Like, the standard answer is I'm not violent, right? Yeah. It's based in 2 different things. So one is that our actual language we've inherited, and I might say more about this later, but the actual language we've inherited, embedded within the consciousness of the language that we've inherited in our culture, is that the standard way that we evaluate life is through someone or something being good or bad or right or wrong or should or shouldn't. And as soon as we start to do that, we then start to dismiss the other. So there is an inherent violence and separation that's within the language that we use ourselves that we don't even see. It's just embedded invisibly through the language.